Welcome to Bridge the Gap, a show where we aim to build a bridge of understanding between opposing views. Each episode you'll see our participants sit down to discuss some thought-provoking statements.
Fathers have become disposable.
If they disagree with the statement, they'll leave their seat and allow those that agree to explain themselves.
And when I have been pregnant with my children, when we were in the hospital, the experience for my husband was like, hello, I'm here.
Those that disagree then return and express themselves to the rest of the group.
Well, nobody can tell me that if I leave, it's not gonna make a difference, basically. That's what it feels like for it to be disposable.
Hopefully building a bridge of understanding. Let's see what happens.
I come from a single parent household.
Okay, mine in particular, I feel it was strange because when I hear about single parent households, it's like you have one parent and that's all you have. But my dad was always there. He just didn't get along with my mum. So my name is Sam Kimby. I run a football club. We just got into the football ladder, so we're trying our best to get to the FA Cup, God willing, called Never Losing. I don't feel like my experience of a single parent household is the best because my dad was always there. Like, he fought to stay as close to me as possible. The worst side of it was I was there through like custody battles, so I could say that my mum loved me and my dad loved me. So I don't feel no animosity to either of them. But I'm angry at both of them for not figuring it out.
I think mine's kind of similar to yours. Like, I lived with my mum because they broke up probably just after I was born. But my mum got into a relationship and since then she got married, so she's been in that relationship since then. So I technically feel like I have two dads.
Hi, my name is Nikita. I'm a singer-songwriter. I'm a single mum also.
So I've always had, like, in a sense, the best of both worlds because I've had my biological dad involved in my life heavily, and then I've had my stepdad, and then I've had my mum.
I had a fairly different experience. So I grew up in a single parent household, my mum. They were together when I was born, like in London, until I was like 3, and they separated. And then, because it's quite hard being a single mother in the UK, London is very expensive, my mum decided to get a better life to move to America.
Hi, my name's Shakura and I'm a student.
So we moved to America for about 9 years, and then we moved to Singapore for about 5 years, and then moved back here. But for me, the whole experience has been quite amazing. Because she was a single parent, that was like the push for her to move abroad and like give us the life that we probably would have never had if she decided to stay with our father. So I think even though a lot of people look at single parent and two parent households, or specifically single parent households, in a negative light, for me it was like the biggest blessing because the life I've had, like, it's been amazing, and I couldn't really imagine it being that way if I was in a two parent household.
Yeah, it's kind of similar for me. So I was raised with my nan. So to me, she was my mum and my dad, and I had, you know, aunties and uncles and cousins and people from church, and it's good and it's nice. But again, for me, it wasn't mummy and it wasn't daddy. So I think for me, a long time, I kind of searched for that, and there's always been that void of not having the mum and the dad. But I'm grateful to my nan and everybody else, but it's still not the same. And I think every child, they need a mum and a dad, healthy mum and dad, you get me, sane mum and dad, to be there some way, somehow. My name is Shanique Jackson. I am a student and I'm also a content creator.
But you mentioned a void. Oh, yeah. You mentioned a void, but I don't think a void necessarily has to be a negative thing. So even though, like, my dad wasn't there, the father figure that I kind of had came from my uncles. They basically were like my dad. And then we had like a small community and like family friends that stepped in. So I never like felt like there was a void or something was missing. Because almost in a way it would be, in my mind, it would almost be like a disrespect to my mum being like trying to search for something when I had a great life. Like,
You spoke a bit about saying that you had other family members that was kind of like there to step in and be those role models. So like, for me, kind of growing up, I grew up in a single parent household as well. But my dad was around for certain parts. But hi guys, my name is Joshua O'Shea. I'm a rapper, actor / poetic activist. For the main part, he wasn't there.
Yeah.
So in the parts where he wasn't there, let's say I came from a family structure like yours where my mother has her brother or other siblings there, and they could, let's say, step in and be that other male role model. That would have been maybe helpful. But I feel that growing up in a single parent household just with my mom, even though she was, so she took me to like physical activities, basketball, football, these kind of stuff, even though she was there for me and she supported me and all that kind of stuff. Essentially, it was kind of detrimental because there's certain things that a male has to provide to you that a female she can't do.
An absent parent should always have the opportunity to be in their child's life.
Oh, that's hard. I think I might stand up. I think.
Personally, I feel like you're the child's parent, and there's nothing, you can't change that. So no matter what, I know how I feel about my child. No matter how angry he will ever be at me, I'm his dad. So if I want to come and watch you play this sport, if I want to come, I might not be able to dictate what you do in your life. I can't say what school you should go to because I haven't been there. I can't say what you should eat and what that kind of stuff. But if I want to come to your graduation, I'm coming. You're my child. I made you. If I didn't see you for 21 years, for whatever reason it might be, and this is the day that I decided, you know what, I want to just see. I want to see what you've done. I want to hear your good things, or maybe I want to be there in your for a bad day, just for that one day. I feel like I always have that right to do so.
I think a child needs stability first and foremost. So the in and out thing, that's I don't believe in that. Yeah. However, I think that every child deserves an explanation, and I think every child wants an explanation when somebody isn't in their life. So I think every child is deserving of that. But I think that person, that parent, they have to be accountable, and they have to be responsible, and they have to be healthy. Because, you know, again, you can be in a child's life, but if you're unhealthy, you have toxic traits, you might as well not be in that child's life.
Yeah, I think it's really important when a child's parent is absent or not in the home that the child is growing up in, that the parent who's the remaining parent keeps a neutral perspective of that person's parent, of the absentee parent. Hi, I am Chi Akinremi. I'm married. I have 2 children, 2 wonderful children. I think that the child should be able to formulate their ideas of that parent themselves and come to the conclusions themselves. And I think, for me, I didn't want to see my dad because of what I saw and what I had been told as well. And it was more of a fear factor. Do you know what I mean? It was like if you don't behave yourself, you're going to see your dad. I don't want to see that person. Do you know what I mean? So for me, it was, I think, in that time, if the other person, the other parent that has chosen to say, keeps neutral about the person's parent and how that parent is, so that the child can make a decision by themselves to know, you know, I don't want to see that, and that's my choice. I think that would be very, very good.
Perception-wise, I see it as it's purely circumstantial. You could be a father and you left when the child was born. And there was a lot of, let's say, domestic problems between you and the mother. Now, when it's domestic problems between you and the mother, I don't necessarily believe that you shouldn't be able to see the child because that's between you and the mother, if you see what I'm saying. But if you're in a situation where you're not necessarily equipped to be with that child, and you know, you was never, let's say you wasn't a good mother or you wasn't a good father, you never provided financial support, emotional support, the child was never essentially a priority to you. Once the child grows up, I feel like if they if they understand that and that's how they see it, I feel like it's their choice to kind of, bring you back into their life, because essentially everything they've built has been outside of you, and so it's unfair to just be like, oh, you know what I mean? I'm here now.
I'm kind of like in between, if I'm honest, because I get that. I feel like everyone should have an opportunity or a chance to better themselves. And I do believe in people changing. And I also liked the fact that you guys mentioned about the fact that, you know, how, a parent might be towards a child is different to how they would have been with their partner or ex-partner or whatever. So that is definitely a nice argument. Problem I find, I think, with personal situations I've been in with my child's father, is you open up the door and it seems as though, you know, people like to take the piss a bit. Do you see what I'm saying? Sorry if you swearing. But I just find sometimes it's like, I feel like you should let the door be open a slight bit, see how things go. And I'm all for, as I said, second chances and stuff like that. But I feel like sometimes what happens is people manipulate that. So, as I said, like, I'm in between. I think it's really important for a child to have a relationship with any parent. And whether that be that it's when they're 10, 11, etc., etc. I think it's for that, the main guardian to really kind of almost analyse the situation, analyse what's actually going on and whether it's actually suitable for the child. And if they don't believe it's suitable for the child, then after the 18 onwards or 16 onwards, then that child make that decision.
Parents should always stay together for the sake of their children.
I'm going to have to leave you on this one.
Oh, good.
I'm sorry.
Oh, maybe the flies can talk on this one.
Just me.
That one.
We will agree.
I think, personally, parents should at least have a cordial relationship. Just on the basis of child understanding how mom and dad's relationship works.
I think sometimes the child's better off when they're not in a relationship. And so again, it's, it's not about me, it's not about you, we can solely focus on the child. And I think sometimes the dysfunction comes when it's not about the child, it's about what she said or what he said or what he did 5 years ago. And there's so much confusion and the child gets like just not seen. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The relationship becomes the focus. That's where it becomes toxic.
And the hurt as well.
Yeah,
the pain.
Exactly.
It makes me sad though. I wish that all parents stay together.
Yes, if they can figure it out.
Yeah, I prefer it a lot, but it's not prison, and it could feel that way, especially for the child, that you don't have no safe place, that your own home can be a war zone.
Yeah.
So, but
I think for like the well-being of the parents, if it's not working, them being together, because I think mentally, emotionally, you have to be the best that you can possibly be to give it to your child. And I think definitely if you see your parents together for the sake of whatever, I think children start to learn, oh, is this what love looks like? Is this what love is? Is this what I have to do? I have to sacrifice everything for the sake of family and everything like that. And obviously later on down the years, you develop poor habits, or you seek love in wrong places, or you assume I'm meant to be in a toxic relationship, this is what it's meant to look like. So I definitely think, even financially sometimes, when you're together with someone, when your finances are entangled or properties, sometimes it's not good, and sometimes a lot of the times with relationships, finances become sort of a hinder. Again, I'm talking as if I'm a parent myself, so I'm not a parent, but I'm just assuming those things would definitely impact relationships with children. So being apart, separating yourselves either financially or legally, sometimes that could be good for the kids. Not like custody-wise, but in terms of like marriage status and those types of things. Yeah.
I think you need to, as parents, try, parents who are in a relationship, try your best to make it work. And I mean, even if it needs counselling, it needs a break, if you need, I think all resources have to be exhausted before the decision to break away a family. I think that needs to be done. I think sometimes we just break away from things too quickly, or we break away from things not on in a note whereby you've tried.
Okay.
And I mean, when you've tried, I mean, not try amongst yourself. Sometimes you need to call the elders. Sometimes you need to get counselling. Sometimes go on a holiday together on a retreat and figure it out. We're in a society, sometimes I think everyone wants things to be quick, quick, quick. And relationships are hard. Marriage is hard. I'm in a marriage lost 8 years. We're still trying to figure out our way. And I feel like if you've tried your utmost and put your hands up and say, you know what, I've actually tried, then yeah, and you've come to the conclusion, actually, we're not working together, then by all means.
Fathers have become disposable.
I agree with it.
Kind of.
Can I start? Okay, so the reason why I agree with this statement is not that I personally agree that fathers have fathers have become disposable, but I've seen it in society how they have become disposable. For example, when I was pregnant with my son, and when I have been pregnant with my children, you see that they're more care about the mother.
Yeah. Yeah.
On the forms, it's more mother, and I get that because that's the law in this country. But how about have a law that accommodates both parents? Do you know what I mean? To the point that when we were in the hospital, the experience for my husband was like, hello, I'm here. I'm here. She's not a single parent. I'm actually here. The father's here. And they didn't really care so much to bring him in. It was more like, oh, if you decide to have a C-section, not if you guys decide. It's like, mother, if you decide. It was like almost his opinion didn't matter. So I think like where the father is present, or it's also almost this assumed assumption that a father doesn't want to be present. Okay, so that's why I wanted to bring that out. So it's not more of my personal, do I agree with that statement, but it's more of what I have seen.
I think it comes down to the expectation. I think, again, if you've grown up in society or a culture or communities where, you know, men aren't there or men aren't, you know, present role models or, do you get me? Just present and consistent, you grow up and sometimes you have a low expectation of men. You don't, you know, lots of women use men, abuse men. There's no respect, there's no love, because they haven't seen that. Exactly. So I think that's what, it's a lot about that.
The floor is yours.
Me? I feel like fatherhood is what was the word that they use, like replaceable or disposable?
Disposable.
It's the best thing in the world. Like fatherhood is something special. It's not. I can only describe it from from what I've been through, and my son is the best thing. I slander him all the time. Let me not. But to put it aside, it's the best thing in the world, and only I can feel that. So nobody can tell me that if I leave, it's not gonna make a difference, basically. That's what it feels like for it to be disposable. Like whatever I do is going to influence this child's life. If I'm doing well, he feels it. If I do poorly, he feels it. If I leave, it's a burden on somebody else in his life. It's his mother's burden. And I feel like as much as we're like our relationship between the father and the child is one thing, the relationship between the father and the mother is also it's a special thing in itself. If I can do the best for her, everybody benefits. And nobody can do that good, that specific good other than me. Like nobody can make her feel like a great mother. It's only I can do it.
I feel like you can't really dispose of something that's a piece of you.
Yeah.
So essentially, by name, essentially you can sort of say father is disposable, because I guess if you leave, the woman can get another meal. But essentially, after 18 years or after however many years, that child's 9 times out of 10 gonna have certain characteristics, features, certain traits that you have, and he'll grow up never actually understanding how much he resonates with the person you are.
It is important for children to be street smart.
Go on, bro.
Yeah.
Well, all right. In life, I feel like based on maybe the background that you're growing up in, the environment you're growing up in, it may be quite important to be street smart. I feel like being street smart allows you to navigate through certain environments that if you didn't have an understanding of certain situations, you wouldn't be able to deal with. Yeah.
I don't know what it means.
Exactly.
Street smart is kind of just making it sound like I'm from the slum. And
yeah, that's exactly.
If he's gonna grow up in the slum, he needs to learn how to move. But
yeah,
I feel like no matter where you go, you should have a good understanding of people. So even when you go into a workplace, and you know how snaky a workplace can be, like in terms of there's some people you just need to stay away from. Not that they're gonna stab you, just that they might report you to HR for something, for wearing the wrong shoes or something like that. So you always have to have a certain
awareness. That's
you
what
need to
it is
carry
down.
yourself in
It's
a certain
awareness,
way.
yeah, and kind of open and understand not everyone's gonna be like you.
For you, yeah.
And be open-minded to different scenarios. So I think I get what you're saying with the word street smart.
street
It's a difficult
smart.
one. It is
I
a
have
difficult one, but
I have an issue with the term street smart because street smart, when I first heard it, I thought ghetto, and I'm thinking, no, you don't need to know about the ghetto because we're not in the ghetto. But what I understand street smart to be is to just be able to read the room and read the situation quick enough before the other person that's trying to catch you out. So I like with my child, like now I'm talking, as I'm speaking to them, I'm like, listen, this is what a person looks like that you don't want to be around. Like, so for example, when we're going through Brixton, you have some people that you don't really want them to touch your child, but they will try come up to you so close, right? And I'm saying, okay, this is what a drunkard looks like. But without saying drunkard, I said, you don't want to be around that person. Or when they get older, just be like, there's a situation here, know when to run. As they get older, you start telling them, okay, I need you to be able to take the bus. I need you to be able to go on a tube and figure out how to get to this place from this place. If your phone gets low, what do you do? That kind of. So being able to read the room and know how to be in circumstances. But I don't need you to know who's like where to buy weed from or where you need to,
I think it's about understanding the survival mode, right?
Yeah, survival mode.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah, just understanding, like, because I'm sorry, I've met little kids that just have no clue. It's because their parents have kind of almost smothered them. Yeah. And they've made them believe that, you know, and I feel like it's really difficult. You should not do that, for one, because your child's not always going to be with you. And you don't know who your child is going to then be exposed to when they do go to school, nursery, etc., etc. I think it's really important that they are aware of the outside world. And that's why I find it, you know, when people do the homeschooling, I do understand why people do that, but I kind of feel like it kind of restricts your child from understanding how society and the world can be. I know the world is a toxic place, but, you know, unfortunately that's life. And I think when you do the homeschooling thing and you kind of stop them from kind of getting to know different people and and these different people could be bad people for them. Sometimes it's good to mix with a bit of bad and good. You know, it's just life. So I feel, I think it is important that they are, what was it, street smart, because they do need to be aware of certain things. And there are places that you are brought up in, you know, that are, unfortunately, not everyone's brought up in the best of places. Do you see what I'm saying? So, you know, I was brought up in Tottenham, parts of Tottenham. Then I went to Enfield. Then I went to South at one point. So I've manoeuvred, and I've also been brought up in Spain. So there's like a lot of places I've had to kind of change, not necessarily change myself as a person, but get used to different environments and different people. And it is important because, boy, you don't survive. You do not survive if you're used to just one thing.
Sorry guys.
Oh.
We have to cut it there.
Oh.
It's a sick conversation.
So I was trying nothing.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.